is a story told of King Vishwamitra. This story in a way explains how inseparable these ideas of sex, children, reproduction were, and why such emphasis on celibacy. Vishwamitra was a great king, a warrior. One day, he decides to pursue a spiritual path. He decides to become a monk. He wants to move away from his worldly life and become a sannyasi. He starts practicing meditation. He moves away from his kingdom. He moves into the forest. And he becomes an ascetic. Gods see this and they decide to disturb his penance. Gods keep doing this for some reason. No one knows why. But they are interested in interfering with your sex life. If you're having more sex, they interfere. If you're not having sex, they interfere. In a way, this says more about us than gods. So it is said that gods decided to intervene and destroy his penance. So they sent the celestial nymph Menaka, supposed to be the most beautiful, drop-dead, gorgeous, stunning woman. No man can deny her. That is how beautiful she is. Very definition of beauty. Gods have created her. Naturally, she would be beautiful. So when Vishwamitra sees Menaka, he forgets all about his penance. He forgets his path. He forgets his abstinence. He forgets his celibacy. And he gets married to her and he produces few children. And then, after many years, as it naturally happens, it does not matter whether you are Menaka or someone even more beautiful. At the end of the day, a wife is a wife. After a while, desires will wane. You will start coming back to reality. So the same thing happened to Vishwamitra. After getting married, after having children, he comes back to his senses and he says, "No, I have been tricked. I have to get back to my celibate ways." And then he decides to leave his wife, deny his family life, and he becomes a monk again. This story is told as how much strength it takes, even for a man like Vishwamitra, a great warrior, a king who knows how to fight his enemies. His whole life is about fighting. He was unable to fight a simple sexual desire. And eventually, he had to go back to celibacy in order to become enlightened. Now, this story is told to illustrate the point that you have to be celibate. Otherwise, you will get into samsara. You will get married, you will have children, and you will deviate from the path. But if this same story were to be told now, it would read very differently. Vishwamitra is sitting in meditation. He is in deep penance. Gods decide to disturb his penance. So they send Menaka. Vishwamitra opens his eyes, looks at Menaka, he has sex with her, he uses a condom because he knows that he does not want to have kids. It's mutually agreed upon. He'll have a conversation with her. Well, she's also alone. She's created for that purpose. I'm sure she's also craving for sex. They both have sex, maybe a few times, and after that, they go their separate ways. Because Vishwamitra says, I don't want to have children because I am moving towards my enlightenment. And Vishwamitra goes back to his meditation and he becomes enlightened. What is the problem in this story? Instead of fighting, instead of making it a big deal, it's like saying, I want to breathe, but I'm against breathing. I'll suppress it. I'll control it. Why? If only you can understand the consequences of sex, if you can intelligently approach it and still keep your higher goal intact, there is absolutely no problem in accommodating sex. And by its very nature, once you know you can have sex, there is no artificially imposed rules. You won't be thinking about it all the time. It'll just be one other thing. And as you go deeper into meditation, as you move higher spiritually, your desire for sex naturally reduces because your body is becoming more relaxed. It is touching those pleasure zones naturally. It is not stressed, it is not anxious, it is not worried. Remember, sex is connected to all these things. The more anxious you are, the more disturbed you are, the more you want to release those energies, the more you want to find an outlet. When you start settling in your body naturally, when you start falling in love with your body, when you start accepting yourself more, which is all a natural progression in spirituality, your craving for sex reduces. Now, without fighting sex, without trying to artificially curb it, you have naturally accommodated it as a part of your life. And a day comes, even without you noticing it, it is perfectly there as a tiny part of your life.